The Edmonton Oilers welcome back a familiar face on Monday in Captain Connor McDavid. But tonight, it is a new face in the lineup, the debut of John Klingberg in an Oilers jersey as we get set for a game with many storylines in it between the Edmonton Oilers and the Detroit Red Wings. Hello, what up, and welcome to Pre-Gaming with Bordzy, brought to you by Sherwood Ford, the Giant, and is a presentation of Bet365 because whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app today. Use the promo code NATION. I see, weirdly enough, Austin didn't get the first comment of the day. Was a little shook by this one. It's Fighting Amish. Said LFG Oilers. Hell yeah, brother. And then it's Austin, who I wish that said Lordsy, because that might be something that I kind of like. It's Lordy. It's Bordzy. Let's fire up the band, my ON fam. Drop your likes in the chat. Let's get this party started. No better day than a game day. Then we got Cup Year. Dude Guy 777 is ready for spaghetti, Liam. Why don't you share with the people what you just had for dinner?
Tacos.
Well, that's my voice of my man. My boy's a man of few words as well. Kiana's in. Happy game day, everyone. Who's ready for the Oilers to serve up a plate of crispy wings topped with a big orange W? Cup, yeah. Bob Stoffer's in. Imagine how lit this chat is going to be come post. And then Lance Kane, I am available for beers any day starting tomorrow and all weekend long. Yes, Lance, I did get your DM. Unfortunately, I am unavailable on Friday. I still love you, though. This evening, you can tell from that familiar face on your screen. I'm joined by the one, the only, Liam Horrobin, producer Pat, behind the scenes as well, and intern Reese also hanging out. Live long and prosper, Liam. How we doing tonight?
I'm good. I'm chilling like a villain. I'm excited for this game. I think it's actually a pretty underrated matchup on the NHL slate tonight. So the Detroit Red Wings, they might be back. The Isa plan has taken pretty much a lifetime, but it seems to be working now.
Detroit Red Wings possibly good, question mark? We will find out, because under new head coach Todd McLellan, the Edmonton Oilers have seen the new head coach bump before. We probably got it with Todd McLellan once before, but who knows how long that will last. And there's some injuries and sickness going on in the Red Wings locker room, the Oilers locker room as well. I heard Matthias Ekholm give an interview. Didn't even sound like Matthias Ekholm. It was crazy. His voice was totally gone. But Liam, we lead off tonight's show with some late breaking news, because RIP to the Utah Wasatch. I think it's Wasatch. I believe. But that's exactly it. That's the problem with the name. Nobody knows what that means. RIP to that. January 29th, 2025 to January 30th, 2025. Gone far too soon, but there has been a little bit of a trade. It was a weird tweet. We got it here from the Utah Hockey Club currently. And they're saying they heard the feedback from their fans and nobody liked that name. Nobody understood what that name mean. It's what you get with Google. So I Googled, what does Wasatch mean? Google tells me it's a mountain pass or a low pass over high range. The third Google search that pops up says, according to Utah Native American expert Lavan Martineau, the word Wasatch means frozen penis. So take with that what you may. That's what you get on Google. But Wasatch out, Outlaws in. The choices are now the Utah Hockey Club, the Utah Mammoth, or the Utah Outlaws. I'd be curious, everybody in the chat's opinion. Pat, if you want to make a poll, 3 options. I want to see who wins this. And Liam, I'm curious from you. Give me your podium. Give me your 1, 2, 3 for these possible names.
Yeti. Well, they're not on there. Damn it. Is it bad that Hockey Club might be the best one? I like it in North American sports when teams have like the nicknames attached to the name. So I'll go with Mammoth. I think that's a fun one. I saw some things on Twitter last night of them saying they have the largest like mammoth fossil or something like that in the world in Utah. So maybe that's a good one to go with. I think Outlaws kind of sucks. That reminds me of like Western stuff. You know what I mean? And I just don't think of that when I think of Utah. So I don't know. Yeah, the Storm and Mormon, maybe that's another good one.
I love that. There's a lot of jokes to be made there. I'm going to find my way to power through that one as well. I think for me, it goes Utah Mammoth. Also, shout out to the Colorado Mammoth of the NLL. They got some good chants that go on. You always got to think of like, what would your let's go Mammoth, let's go. That works. Wasatch,
Yeah,
I don't know what the fuck that is, but I'm going Mammoth, Hockey Club, and then the Outlaws. Hockey Club's underrated, dude. Like, would you rather they still be called the Washington Football Team or the Washington Commanders? It's football team. It's football team every step of the way.
In England, like these soccer teams don't really have nicknames. A lot of them are all the same, like United, Town, City, Wanderers, stuff like that. But you have your Arsenals of the world, Fulham, Liverpool, those kind of names. Like they can be iconic names on their own. You can make nicknames from it. I don't know. I think all of them will ultimately be fine, and I'll forget about it the moment they announce it. I remember thinking Golden Knights kind of sucked in the moment, but then they stopped playing with it, and it was actually pretty good.
All I wanted was the Knights. I thought the Golden Knights was just it made it way less threatening, I guess. But there you go. You go out on the ice and you win some games. Who gives a shit what the team is called? Before we get into this one, I do want to give a quick plug for the Odd Company Nation Beer Everyday Lager. Perfect for game day, perfect for every day, perfect for pre-gaming with Bordzy. Shout out to Odd Company, 2 locations in the Edmonton area, or check them out, liquorconnect.com. You can find out which local liquor stores are carrying this bad boy right here. I tell you all the time, it's as simple as asking your local liquor store guy, hey, can you start ordering these? You can do it with the press of a button, but there's a lot to talk about in this hockey game, Liam. A lot in the next 60 minutes. We got John Klingberg's debut. We got Jeff Skinner sticking in the lineup here. Third line upgrade. He'll come in replace of Kasperi Kapanen. We got former Oilers head coach Todd McLellan going against his old team in a revenge game. We got new look line combos. But first, I do want to talk. It was something mentioned on ONE today, and it's not Bouchard v. Mo Sider, because goddamn was that ever hilarious today. That's the entire reason why we got a thing that I could switch cameras, was just to get Tyler's reaction as he started eating his lunch during that awesome debate between you and our fearless leader, Jay Downton. But I want to talk about the quarter century teams, and you guys mentioned it a little today. I'm curious, some people in the chat. I just wanted to share mine. So, Pat, show us the first team, quarter century team for the Edmonton Oilers. And this is what it looks. Leon, Connor, Nuge, Boosh, Darnell. Basically the team we have right now, featuring Dwayne Rollison. Lots of debate online. Liam, I know you talked about it today. The only change that I would make on this one, hit it for me, Pat. Chris Pronger needs to be on this list. It's absolutely batshit crazy to me that he's not here. I don't totally know what the criteria was. I was looking it up. And it said each team will be selected by a panel of media, retired players, executives specific to that club. Players under consideration for selection are those who have appeared in a game for the respective franchise since January 1. So if it's one game and the timeline doesn't matter, without a doubt, Chris Pronger needs to be on this list. Liam, do you subscribe to my theory or do you unsubscribe?
I'm all in. I think he deserved to be on there. I mean, for what it is, like he was the best player for the Oilers when they went to the Stanley Cup final in 2006. The guy scored a shootout goal, for crying out loud. Like, come on, he's a defenseman. I just think, like, I understand it, like the bitterness that is left behind and all that kind of stuff and the way he left. But, like, at the end of the day, the on-ice stuff is kind of what's supposed to matter with this. And I know this is very much like a meaningless and like a fun kind of thing they were doing, but that would be the one I would change. I would also change Nuge to Ryan Smith because I just think he's everyone's favorite Oiler. He was for so long, right? Before this like next generation of players, like growing up, he was our favorite Oiler because he's Ryan Smith and he was like the only good player we had. So yeah, I think I would have had Smith on there instead of Nuge, and Bouchard I would have kept on. And another reason too, I think Pronger should have been on the list is Matthias Ekholm's played like not that much longer and has had a huge impact on this team. Do not get me wrong. But I think Pronger is more of an iconic Oiler than Ekholm will probably ever be.
without a doubt, Pronger. And it's like, I get the off-ice stuff. I get the drama with the city and everything going on. I don't care. It's about the quarter century, without a doubt, the best Oilers defenseman. And then you look at team number 2 that they got. What were the names here? Pat, throw it up for me. Hemsky, Horkoff, Ryan Smith. I can get down with him on first team over Nuge. I'm more of a Nuge guy than a Smitty guy, but you're right. He was everyone's favorite Oiler. It wasn't even close. Then they got Ekholm and Jason Smith. I kind of subscribe to your theory, and I took an out-of-the-box name that I would replace. Pat, hit it for me. Steve Staios. I don't think Steve Staios is getting nearly enough love in this whole debate. The dude played 9 seasons with the Edmonton Oilers, which I get is kind of hypocritical because I picked Chris Pronger, really had 1 good season with the Oilers, but Staios was a staple on this team. He was a very good defenseman on this team. Also played with my boy Gator right there in Jason Smith. That's my final thought. Tommy Salo, without a doubt, the pick. I liked your idea, Liam, and we should do it tomorrow, of making the 3rd quarter century team for the Edmonton Oilers. That could be a lot of fun doing that one, but people throw your takes. Waz, where's Anton Belov?
Who knows?
Time out for Waz. I'm kidding.
He wasn't even here when he was in Edmonton playing for us. The 3rd team is a fun one because I feel like it was very obvious who was going to be on both of these teams. Like, obviously, we just debated if Pronger should be on, and like you can talk about Stuart Skinner as well if he should have made it over Salo or Rollerson. I don't think he should have, to be honest, but that's a different debate. But like, the 3rd team, I actually don't know what you do. Like, does Taylor Hall and Jordan Eberle probably make it? Does Tyson Berry deserve to be in some conversation? Like, I get it. Sam Gagne, Mike Smith. Honestly, like Mike Smith is not like a crazy shout either. Like Peyton did that thing with us, didn't he? Of like the best save percentage by a goalie who has played 100 games. Well, Mike Smith in 99 games for the Oilers is a .913 save percentage. That was really good.
Dude, it got me thinking about it because of the goaltender we expect that we're going to be playing against tonight, Cam Talbot. I was like, where does he rank on this list? Because he wasn't here that long, but the Oilers don't have very many good goaltenders in the 2000s to 2025. Also, shout out Devin Dubnyk, who was on Oilers Nation every day earlier today. But enough about that. We'll talk about the game now and the storyline. The big one coming into this is getting our first look at new Oilers defenseman John Klingberg. Hopefully it works out much better than the last guy that wore number 36 for the Edmonton Oilers. Shout out Jack Campbell, but he's making his Oil debut after being out more than a year with hip resurfacing surgery. He has battled through injury all his life. We had the quote, we saw the tweet today, Pat, we have it from Mark Spector in here, where I was shocked when I saw this tweet. I don't know if everybody knew this, but John Klingberg, who's scheduled to play tonight, just told me that he had double hip surgery at age 18 and again at age 21. He has never played pain-free in the NHL until now. And his quote in there, I feel like a kid again. Jason Demers even mentioned it on ONE today as well. When he played with him, he said he was in pain all the time. But the man was an absolute warrior trying to find his way to power through. And I like that quote. I feel like a kid. Overall on this move, I'm curious your expectations heading into this one. The move in general, you like it. It's kind of funny. It's one of the few things that most Oilers fans have agreed on was this addition and going, it's a low risk move. There's not really much of a downside to this thing, $1 million. And I'm curious what everyone's expectations are going to be tonight because he joined the team a week and a half ago. He's been skating with the team. He was running drills with Connor McDavid on the ice when he was suspended. I also said they should be BFFs now. Spent an entire week, 3 games up in the press box together. There's his numbers last season with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Only played 14 games before he had to shut down his entire season due to that hip injury. But he's been getting acclimated and he's set to pair with Darnell Nurse on the second pairing tonight, even though Nobby did say he's going to play with a handful of guys to try and catch him up to speed to the NHL level. And I'm excited to watch him. Seen a lot of tweets about how good he's looked at practice. I've seen the pundits talking about, could he be Darnell's partner of the future? My expectations are not nearly that high. I'm looking for 16 to 18 minutes, solid minutes maybe some power play 2 time out there. But what I'm looking for is how does he skate? How does he move? How does he take a hit when you got some guys forechecking coming in and you got to turn your back in your own zone? How is he going to be able to hold up to that? And in general, over the next weeks, the coming weeks and the coming months, but also excited to see how he moves this puck and this breakout passing I've heard a lot about. What about you, Liam? What are your expectations for John Klingberg tonight?
I don't have any. I'm just hopeful he can have an okay game, to be honest. And I think that should be the standard for him. You just need him to get out there and like, he's going to make a couple of mistakes. It's probably going to happen early, but as the game goes on, like, does he get better or does he get worse? That's kind of going to be how I evaluate his performance. Like, I just want him to do well, and I don't think he's a solution for the Oilers with on their blue line. Their blue line is not an issue by any means, but definitely needs an upgrade in certain parts. But like, if he can come in and be better than Troy Stecher, which I think he's more than capable of being now that we've kind of seen him and heard a bit more about him, then I think that's a really good thing, and I would consider that a win for Edmonton. I like what Knobloch said of like, he's going to play with everyone, and that's a good way to do it. Like, yes, it's clear that we need a top 4 defenseman, but we don't know if it's this guy. But if he starts playing well with Kulak and then all of a sudden Emberson starts playing well with Nurse, and then maybe we do know a little bit more, then we have a much bigger sample size of what Emberson is this season in comparison to Klingberg. So I like the addition. I think I was harsh on it when it first came out because the cap thing is honestly just very confusing. I'm still not quite sure how much he truly gets paid on the cap, but it's some money value. I can confirm that much. So I'm excited for it. I hope he does well. Hopefully they can get Brandon Saad. And then you have 2 assets that you've brought onto your team that has cost you nothing but money and cap, which is a really good thing. And maybe that helps them even more at the deadline. And they can go and look at just Provorov, for example, someone of that caliber of defenseman who can come in. You can be like, okay, we're going to give you our second for the next 2 years. And away we go into the Stanley Cup final.
Damn right. I like that. Also, throwing Kasperi Kapanen into those names as well, right? If you get Saad, you get Klingberg. Stan Bowman been digging through the trash heap, brother, and he is finding some gems, or we hope gems. Also, Kasperi Kapanen will be out of this game tonight because Jeff Skinner is going to be in. You mentioned it there. It's funny that Klingberg starts his first game and gets second pairing minutes with Darnell Nurse, while I've been banging the drum on Ty Emerson to get second pair minutes for what feels like the entire season now at this point. But it's nice timing to make these moves because, you know, like you saw it last year with like Elias Lindholm to the Vancouver Canucks. They pulled the trigger on that deal a little bit earlier to try and not have to rush some chemistry, or kind of in the way it worked in Vancouver. What if the deal doesn't work out and it's not that way? You can still make another move before the deadline comes up, but who knows? Let's see. All I said, bar's pretty low if you're wearing number 36 as an Edmonton Oiler right now. So just stay on the team and we'll be happy. Stay up in the NHL. That's not the only lineup change tonight as well. First up, we got Connor Brown on the top line with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Connor McDavid, who was just named an alternate captain for Team Canada at the upcoming 4 Nations tournaments. Now, both of these dudes, they got plenty of experience with 97. All 3 together have only played 45 minutes together this season. However, they have outscored their opposition 3-2 at 5v5. Nobby, like Liam, you and I both thought it was a little weird to see Connor Brown up on this top line. He has 1 point in his last 11 games. But I got a quote from Nobby here, and if Nobby's anything, he is consistent. And he says Connor's been playing well. Connor Brown, that is. The goal scoring hasn't been there as of late, but I think the all-around game has been good. He's fast. He can get in on the forecheck. And here's the big one. He is reliable defensively.
Whoa.
Take note, Jeffrey Scotty Skinner. But Connor Brown, right? Only 6 goals, 20 points in 50 games on the year, 1 point in his last 11 games. And that one came hitting Matthias Janmark in the wrist. So let's call a spade and what it is. Was a little confused by this move from Nobby, and in no way do I expect Connor Brown to stay on this first line for an extended period of time. Can see the Oilers going down and him off of that trio by the second period, but I do think it's more of a statement in trying to get the rest of the lineup going. You see Zach Hyman playing with an Adam Henrique, playing with a Jeff Skinner, a trio we have seen play well together in spurts before, but stick to the top line. Thoughts on Connor Brown getting top line minutes with 1 point in his last 11 games?
I don't really get it,
I
but
don't get it.
I'm fine with the Oilers going pure experimental mode for this next little bit, as long as they keep winning games and it isn't harming them in that way. And I really do think that's just what they're doing. They're trying to figure everything out, and I'm surprised they haven't done it too much more on the defensive side of things too. But maybe once they get a couple extra guys in, like if Klingberg does stick, and like, you know, maybe a bit more of a rotation of who's playing with through there. But there's no denying like Brown is being good. I just think these guys are third, fourth line guys. The same with Janmark. Like, I don't know. I really don't see what the upside is, but for a couple of games, it is what it is. And we all know if the others go down in the game, what's going to happen anyway. I just think Zach Hyman deserves a bit better. And maybe this is more of a credit to him of that they think his ability is better to go and play with guys like Henrique and Skinner, and they're able to kind of elevate each other, which is also very much a positive thing. But yeah, there's certain guys in this lineup who I think should be lower. And I just find it interesting. Like, Skinner scores, gets scratched. Janmark scores, goes to the fourth line. It's just a weird thing right now. Victor Arvidsson, I'd like to see him do a little bit more too. I'm starting to get a bit convinced that maybe Kasperi Kapanen can just do the same role as him for cheaper.
It kind of feels that way right as of late, or it's like everybody else has seen their time kind of come out here and there out of the lineup, out of the top six. Victor Arvidsson is just stuck in there when we saw early chemistry with him, Pods, and Dry. And maybe it's dipped a little. We also talked today on ONE. That's such a good defensive trio in Pods, Dry, and Arvidsson that maybe that's more of their responsibility. Yeah. But you mentioned this experimental phase of Chris Knoblauch right now. And I got a quote here from Zach Hyman about that. He said, "I think it's great. The more you can understand as a coach what works and the different options you have, the better equipped you are to maneuver every situation going forward." I do think this is just about seeing what you have right now. And I don't necessarily believe that if we were taking on the Vegas Golden Knights, Connor Brown would be on the first line, Zach Hyman on the third. But I mentioned it there. Jeff Skinner, he's replacing Kasperi Kapanen in the lineup, playing on that third line. And that line, I love it because they do have some veteran scoring punch. We've seen them a bit this season. They played 25 minutes together, 5v5, outshot the opposition 12-6. Liam, do you know where I got that information?
Game notes.
Liam Horrobin's game notes written by the man on the screen. And those guys were even good when it was Kasperi Kapanen instead of Jeff Skinner up there. So I kind of like that trio, and I do think Hyman has really elevated their games in those situations. Hyman's been more of a play driver. He's had the puck on his stick more slicing and dicing, and it has, I keep saying it, elevated the play of the other two guys. Let's go now to our need to know information courtesy of our friends from Wilhauk Beef Jerky. Only the finest tasting meat products earn the Wilhauk name. Made from 100% pure Alberta beef, their jerky is aged, seasoned, marinated, and smoked to savory perfection. They gladly fill orders of any size, and you can find their jerky, sausage, other products exclusively out of their Leduc location. And for more info, go to wilhawkbeefjerky.com. And this isn't need to know info of this game tonight, but need to know info considering Brandon Saad that Frank Saravalli just tweeted the 4 teams that are front runners and eyeing up Brandon Saad. Liam, I hate to report to you, the Edmonton Oilers are not one of those teams. He says Leafs, Vegas, Devils, Tampa Bay Lightning. Edmonton Oilers not one of the 4. All 4 of those teams looking like contenders this season, trying to add a guy. And the rest of the tweet says Brandon Saad scored 26 last year, and he's eager to prove he's got plenty left in the tank. I said today, any man that's willing to turn down $5.4 million to win a Stanley Cup, get him on your team the moment. You can't have enough of those dudes. But Liam, thoughts, feelings, Oilers, I guess, according to our boy Frank, not in the running to get Brandon Saad.
I think those teams probably need a bit more forward depth help than what the Oilers need, is fair to say. And I see Fighting Amish in the chat saying like Brandon Saad's not good, like he didn't help St. Louis. Like, this guy is having the first half of the season has not been great by any means, but if you plug that guy in on your third, fourth line, and you've got a hell of a player, he's better than Janmark, he's better than Noah Philp, he's better than Connor Brown. and he's going to help you score goals. He's also only 32 years old. I'm not talking about someone who's like 36, 37 here. I will hope the Oilers can maybe pull themselves back into that group, but if Frank is saying it, then maybe the Oilers are the 5th team.
Hey, no, I'm reporting that. The Edmonton Oilers are the 5th team. Take that, Frank. I also love this from Pat. I thought he wanted to go to a real contender. Boom, brother. Drop that right on their head. Attaboy, Pat. But yeah, like you mentioned it there, dude. I don't care what his numbers look like this year. I don't care what some people are saying that he looked like in St. Louis. You throw this dude on the Edmonton Oilers bottom 6. He's better than what's in there now. And also, you can never have too much depth. We already know that about the Edmonton Oilers. What was the line that Jason Demers said today? I'm already forgetting. Holy shit balls. Holy shit balls. They're deep as hell or something. If they were to get Brandon Saad, have Evander Kane, Kasperi Kapanens, your Jeff Skinners, and Waz is watching, your Derek Ryans. I'll mention Derek Ryan as well. But yeah.
The 5th line would be Jeff Skinner, Noah Philp, and Kasperi Kapanen if they manage to pull off a Brandon Saad. But that is a good 3rd line on many teams in the NHL.
Dude, on some teams in the NHL, that could be a 2nd line. Maybe not a good 2nd line, but it would be a 2nd line. You need to know, though, about tonight. Standings watch. Da-na-na, da-na-na. The Edmonton Oilers still remain in 1st place in the Pacific Division. 2 days without a game, still top dogs. Tied at 67 points with the Vegas Golden Knights with a game in hand. So the Edmonton Oilers, you see it right there, solely in position of 1st place. Vegas hosts Columbus at 8 p.m. Mountain tonight while the Oil take on the Wings. So during intermissions, feel free to start streaming that one as well and hate watch like I will be hate watching Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. I said it earlier, Brown top line, Skinner, Rico with Hyman on the 3rd, and then Matthias Janmark moving down to the 4th line, shifting back to center, meaning Noah Philp will play the wing for the first time in his NHL career. I did read that Nobby said both of them will take draws here and there, but hey, good little another notch of experience here for Noah Philp, who I do think has been pretty solid in his very limited ice time on the ice. He doesn't look lost out there. Like, he looks like a smart hockey player and knows where to be positionally. Also, if he's not Ryan Nugent-Hopkins' long-lost younger brother, I don't know who is, because they are twins. The Oilers, they're 12-6-1 against Eastern Conference teams this season, including 9-3-1 at home. Edmonton defeated Detroit 3-2 in overtime back on October 27th, and are 5-1-1 against the Red Wings since 2021-2022. The numbers, not eye-popping. McDavid, 25 in 16 games, points, 25 of them. Leon has 15 points in 16 games, while Evan Bouchard is actually a point-per-game player, 8 points in 7 career games. And then finally, Stuart Skinner, father of 2, will get the start this evening. I said, I hope he gets the 2nd kid bump like Fred VanVleet did in the NBA playoffs, because the moment he had that kid, holy shit, he never looked back. He's never been the same player. Fred VanVleet, that is. And Stu, lights out in his last game against the Buffalo Sabres, stopped 39 of 41 for a .951 save percentage. Hopefully, he was able to get enough sleep this week, because from what I hear, I don't have a child. Sounds like you don't get very much sleep. The Red Wings side of information, they come into this one 24-21-5. 6-3-1 in their last 10. 3 points out of a playoff spot, but tied for 6th in the Atlantic Division. Pat, if you want to pull that one up as well, that's a little crazy to me looking at this. 3 games above 500, 6th in the division. It's very competitive in that Atlantic Division, and you got a lot of teams, as I mentioned, Wings 3 points out, but they are red hot because they got the new head coach bump from head coach Todd McLellan, who's really turned the team around since Boxing Day when he took over, which you made a joke today, firing Derek Lalonde the day after Christmas. Ruthless. Savage shit from Stevie Y right there. That's insane move to pull over the break, but looks like it has worked out, because since then the Wings 11-4-1 record. They're matching Edmonton's record over that same exact span. They've also led the league in goals and power play percentage in that stretch. The numbers on the season do not blow you away, Pat. If you want to pull up the head-to-head between the two teams, over the year, they're 20th in goals, 29th in shots, 21st in goals allowed, 21st in shots allowed. But brother, on the season, 31st in the NHL on the PK at 69.6%. But even under head coach Todd McLellan, it hasn't been much better. They're currently rocking at 71% with their new bench boss. Anytime power play points. Let's get on that for the bankroll. Lucas Raymond leads the team in points, 56 in 50 games. Larkin and DeBrincat are tied for the team lead in goals with 21. The Wings have 4 players with double-digit goals. Raymond, Larkin, DeBrincat, Patrick Kane. That's it. Then 3 of them have at least 20 goals, but that was an insane number to look at. And that Patrick Kane, they will be without this evening. Missing his 4th straight game with an upper body injury. Jeff Petrie, former Edmonton Oiler, not on the quarter century team, won't play with an undisclosed injury. He didn't even travel with the team. And then JT Compher is listed as day-to-day, but did travel with the team, while the Wings will get back Vladimir Tarasenko, who was out in their last game with an illness. And then we expect Cam Talbot to be the goaltender. I'm actually checking daily face-off right now to determine if that is accurate. And still unconfirmed. So I think it's going to be him. Could be Alex Lyon, but I think we're looking at Talbot. 14-10-2 record, 286 goals against with a 906 save percentage. Let's go now. Sherwood Ford, a giant storyline brought to you by Sherwood Ford. Hockey fans, helping hockey fans. Free valet service for all Oiler fans. Never visit the dealership again for car service. Get an exclusive swag package with every Nation Valet service booked online and automatically entered to win a monthly prize draw. Book online at sherwoodford.ca. Make sure you add in Oilers Nation Valet at Sherwood Ford, and you can get $500 towards a service plan for all Oilers Nation fans with vehicle purchases. Sherwood Ford, you guys are the best. You guys help fix my vehicle. That's why I'm forever in your debt. Throw in a storyline or a key to victory if you've got one in the chat. And for me, right, I'm very excited for this matchup, more than I thought I would be. The more I dug into these numbers tonight, this is some best on best going on right now in this current NHL. You got the old coach versus his old team, new look lines, all this battle of the Titans, I will say, of right now, 11-4-1 each in their last 16 games. But the Oilers, we know, got star power galore. I'm looking at the power play for an area for them to feast. But the Red Wings have sneaky, sneaky good offensive talent. Lucas Raymond is clutch. He's a beast. He can get it done. You got Larkin, who I think is super underrated in the NHL. DeBrincat, we know, can score. And then rookie Marco Kasper has impressed coming out of nowhere. Throw in Mo Sider's track record against Connor McDavid. And I think we got some ingredients for some fireworks this evening, regardless if you would take Evan Bouchard or Mo Sider. And I think my key to victory in this game, it's all about the power plays. It's about special teams. So often you see a game between two good teams decided by special teams and who can pounce on those opportunities. The Red Wings power play, absolute wagon, 4th in the NHL at 27.8% this season. And according to your game notes, Liam, they even draw penalties at a high rate, 3.02 power plays per game. And then you look at the Oilers power play, we know what it is. We got McDavid back, and you've got the 31st ranked PK in the Red Wings over there. So I think things could get very, very interesting out there with the man advantage, and whoever's smarter might be the team that wins this game. Liam, you got a storyline or a key to victory you can throw my way?
Yes. I think it's all going to come down to the Oilers' defensive play tonight. The Detroit Red Wings, since Todd McLellan took over, scored the most goals in the NHL. I can't remember the number off the top of my head. It's pretty high, and it's number 1. So I think the Oilers need to just show Detroit what it's actually like to be one of the elite teams in the NHL and the standard you need to get to. Like, Detroit's been great. Don't get me wrong. They're tied on points with Oilers since McLellan came in. They've been a fantastic little story here, but let's put an end to that. Let's show them you're the big bad Oilers, like they used to always show us. They're the big bad Red Wings with Zetterberg, Datsuk, not an 06, so take that, Detroit. So yeah, that's what I'm looking for tonight. A good performance from Stuart Skinner and reliable just defensive play from all of them. And by looking at the lineup, I would think that's what Knobloch is kind of looking for as well.
I think you're going to see some dry Pods and Harvey on that top line of Raymond, Dylan Larkin, and Casper. And then just looking at the decor, if Matthias Ekholm is healthy, as I said, guy sounded like shit in his interview that he gave today. So shout out to him. He's the Viking. If he can be physical and really wear down those Detroit forwards, I like the Edmonton Oilers' chances. Also, we got some super chats in the chat right now. Reminder, all of your super chat donations are in support of the Ben Stelter Foundation, a cause incredibly near, incredibly dear to all of our hearts. Foundation dedicated to helping families with children battling cancer. Come on, help them out. And we see in here, this chat is, you guys are incredible. The amount of money that we raise in pre-gaming and After Dark is insane for some of these games. And dude, guys in, he says, what is that I hear? Is that a cup? Yeah. And you're damn right you do. Bob Stoffer's in at $6.99, and he says, having John, a mature puck-moving D-man, could add some really nice icing on the cake for us. Really excited for this as a D-man myself. Bob, you gotta read over your things before you're gonna put $6.99 to them. They gotta make sense a little bit in there. But shout out to you. All your money going to the Ben Stelter Foundation. Patrick, pull it up for me now. The Edmonton Oilers projected lineup for this evening. Top line, Nuge, McDavid, Connor Brown, Vasily Podkolzin with Leon Draisaitl and Victor Arvidsson. Third line, Jeff Skinner with Rico and Hyman. Fourth line, Noah Philp on the wing with Matthias Janmark and Corey Perry. And it's Matthias Ekholm with Evan Bouchard, Darnell Nurse with not Jack Campbell. That is, in fact, John Klingberg, Brett Kulak with Ty Emerson. And I want to talk about that top line. It's not Brownie. It's not Connor McDavid. It's Ryan Nugent-Hopkins returning to his first line wing spot. His rightful spot is the way I kind of think of it. And it's got to be a welcome sight for him because he's been asked to do a little bit of absolutely everything since the calendar switched to 2025. He was asked to play more defensively conscious when he had Brownie and Janmark on both wings. He even played with Pods and Arvidsson, was productive in that stretch. Connor McDavid's out of lineup for 3 games. Nuge scored 3 goals over that stretch, 5 points over that stretch, and really shouldered some of that offensive load for the team. And we've also seen him switch to center to wing to back to center. It's all over the place. And since the new year, Nuge, according to you, Liam, shout out, has 12 points in 13 games, only behind Leon Draisaitl. He's now on pace for 25 goals this season. Where did that come from? He's also on pace for 53 points, and that's not bad for a guy who looked like he was allergic to shooting the puck earlier in the season. He was the subject, Liam, of your game day bet today. I do believe 1 Nuge assist for the love of the game, correct?
For the love of the game, plus 140 for a Nugent-Hopkins assist. He's been awesome recently, and Draisaitl obviously got a ton of praise when McDavid was out of the lineup, but I think Nuge deserves some love as well because he really started up, like you said, like playing alongside guys who just don't have that offensive awareness like he does, but still able to produce and play a strong defensive game too. So big fan of the Nuge. I'm glad to see him up there tonight, and I'm hoping for an assist.
That's first team quarter century Ryan Nugent-Hopkins.
Hello.
All right, everybody, put some respect on his name. Also, Nuge 1 assist plus 140. Nuge points tonight minus 155. So there's quite the swing there instead of point to assist. I like where your head's at with that one, Liam Horrobin, and I should because you are absolutely kicking the shit out of both Tyler and Jay in the Bet365 Game Day Betting Challenge. Tune into Oilers Nation every day, and it's not even a contest, and we're 50 games into this season. Slow and steady, right, Liam? Slow and steady.
I'm not a parlay guy. I just like to do the one bet. I got my 3 bets in tonight, which we'll get to obviously a little bit later on. But there was a slight adjustment to the lineup, Aaron, that just on the blue line, It looks like Darnell Nurse is going to play alongside Evan Bouchard on the top pair, and Matthias Ekholm is going to play with John Klingberg. Kulak and Emerson stay the same. Like Knobloch said too, right? Like this is probably going to change a lot throughout the game for Klingberg.
These depth charts, when they have Chris Knobloch's signature at the bottom, they're just recommendations. They are not set in stone. It's just because he has to put something down, because we've seen it all season, whether it's forwards, whether it's D. People have been, as Jay would say, just flip them. Well, Nobby does sometimes subscribe to that theory. And I'm also curious if maybe, by the way, Ekholm sounded in that interview, dude, I think he's quite ill. And maybe this second pairing minutes with Klingberg, right? There's less workload for you. Also, I would assume they've played together before for the country of Sweden. Also, shout out Ekholm wearing a letter for Team Sweden at the Four Nations. And I guess, speaking of John Klingberg, my message to the fans would be temper your expectations. And that goes both ways. If he has a bad game, we will not kill him in this post-game chat. And if he has a good game, we will not overreact. We will not be saying we've solved the second pair. We will not be saying trade Evan Bouchard like Jay Swish did the other night and stirred up shit online, if you will. And it's going to take time for Klingberg to feel comfortable in this thing and where he's at in his career. I mentioned how is his body going to respond, but from all, I'll be very true right now. From everything I've read from all the guys, all the insiders that have been at Oilers practice, talking about how he looks day in, day out, I'm very excited to see how this man skates. And the fact he said, I feel like a kid again, and that he's been in pain his entire career. First time he's not in pain. Pat, I saw you brought it in. If you just want to show up the lines one more time so the people can get a visual representation. Nurse with Bouchard, Ekholm with Klingberg, Kulak with Ty Emerson. It's me and Brett's guys for the tattoo bet right there. So hopefully they stick together, and it makes it way more fun if they're on the ice together all the time. And by fun, I mean stressful, because I want to pull my hair out. Let's go now to our starting goaltender report, brought to you by Sherwood Power Sports and Marine, home of the $50 bi-weekly ATV, or be on a boat next summer for as low as $105 bi-weekly. Hockey fans helping hockey fans with motorcycles, quads, e-bikes, boats, scooters, whatever fun toy you can probably imagine up, they got it down there at Power Sports and Marine. Just checking again, did we get confirmation on one Cameron Talbot? Daily Faceoff still isn't giving me anything, but we're gonna expect that he is. We're gonna pretend that he is. Just checking the Red Wings Twitter now as well.
I would assume.
No,
it's Alex Lyon. Alex Lyon gets a start.
Is it actually?
Yeah, according to Daily Faceoff Fantasy, you tweet out kind of all the starting goals and everything, and Daily Faceoff in general. Alex Lyon gets a start according to NHL.com.
All right, well, I prepared for Cameron Talbot, so let's start with Stuart Skinner, father of two. As I mentioned, his wife gave birth to a happy, healthy baby earlier this week. Darcy Skinner, future number one goaltender of the Edmonton Oilers. I hope so. Never too early to get him started. Stu was awesome in his last game against the Buffalo Sabres. 39 of 41 for that .951 save percentage. 19, 11, and 3 on the season. 269 goals against, .902 save percentage, and 2.5 shutouts. Shout out to Pat there. And Liam, it's a super tired discussion. I know both of us are sick of it, but all we hear is 900 this and 900 that, 900 this, 900 that. If Stuart Skinner continues to stay above 900, I don't want to hear any bitching in the chat. I'm getting tired of it here with Stuart Skinner, because he has been incredible lately. I expect him to be on his game. I know a lot of people were talking about, should Calvin Pickard start this one, because who knows how much sleep Stu has been getting. He wanted the net. He gets the net. He is your 1A. And where's your confidence level with Stu right now against this red-hot Red Wings offense?
It's always high with Stu. I always trust him because I have no choice but to believe. And he's also played well. The average save percentage in the NHL is .895. And I know everyone just says that 900 marker in their head, and I get it. But Skinner is playing well above average. He's doing well. He's been way better. He's had obviously a couple of terrible games, but overall, he's been very, very, very good for this team. The Oilers have played Detroit already this season, right?
3-2, October 27th.
Overtime.
Overtime winner.
Epic. Thanks, Kermit.
Yeah, that wasn't Kevin Quinn. That just sounded like Kermit. As I chirped Patrick Mahomes earlier too. Tough look for Bordzy there. If we do expect it to be Alex Lyon on the season, I know it's a thing, right? Because like Cam Talbot is your 1A without a doubt on the squad, but he is an older gentleman. He is 37 years of age and he has good numbers, 906 save percentage, but you know me, I'm always going into the other team's Reddit on game days. And a lot of discussion in there was about, can we really ride this guy right now in this time frame? Because he might fall apart come the NHL playoffs. That's why you need a guy like Alex Lyon, who I'm just looking.
I was going to say, I hate to do this to everyone, but Alex Lyon is essentially the reason why the Oilers lost the Stanley Cup last season. Would you like me to walk you through it?
Yes, please.
So the year before, the year was 2022, 2023. Alex Lyon was a member of the Florida Panthers. Many of you may remember he got called up late in the season due to a goalie injury. I don't know which one was injured, and was one of the best goalies in the league for like a 20-game stretch and managed to get Florida into that 8th seed, which they then obviously went on to go and play in the Stanley Cup final and lose to, who did they lose to again? Vegas?
Vegas.
There you go. Lose to Vegas. The next season, he moved on, but Florida obviously then went on to go and win the Stanley Cup, beating the Edmonton Oilers. If Alex Lyon doesn't have that 19-game stretch with a 914 save percentage, does Florida change things up quite drastically because they missed the playoffs? We'll never know, and I hate to think about it.
Connect the dots. Do your own research. Brian Windhorst meme right here. All right, who knows? Patrick Stepan scores that goal in the empty netter. We might have Patrick Kane, but who knows? You never know what's going to happen. Alex Lyon got good numbers, 19 games this season, 268 with a 901. I do see, 100% is confirmed now. Let's go now to the Detroit lineup, brought to you by Greta Bar, downtown Edmonton. And people, we've got an awesome party going down February 22nd down at Greta Bar as Edmonton takes on Philly. It's brunch for Ben, people. Going to be an awesome day full of community spirit, all ages fun. It's just a straight up blast. The best event that we do here at Oilers Nation. Doors open at 10 a.m. Puck drop going to be 11 a.m. Pre-gaming. 10 a.m. We will be post-gaming as well. Tickets, $20 at nationgear.ca. You can get them there. All the proceeds, much like your super chats, are going to support the Ben Stelter Foundation. So come on out. It's an awesome time. You don't have to drink. You don't have to do anything, but you do have to play me in skee ball because I'm taking on everybody who comes at me. Liam, favorite game at Greta, what is it right now?
The football game, but I do love a good traditional game of air hockey. Who doesn't? Who doesn't love having their little fingers just hit with that little plastic thing and going, ah?
That's a very good call. Also, when we do the post-game shows, I can always, we have the headsets on, and all you can hear in the background is just ping, 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 ping. Shout out, Greta Bar, come on out for brunch for Ben and Patrick. Pull it up for me if you can. The projected lineup for these Red Wings this evening. Top line is going to be Marcus Casper with Dylan Larkin and Lucas Raymond. Second line, Alex DeBrincat, Andrew Kopp, who the Red Wings tweeted out, X'd out. Can I say tweeted out? I can't say X'd out. That doesn't make sense.
I don't know.
They said Andrew Kopp is their player to watch tonight because I think it was 15 points in 25 games, something like that. So he's a guy. Vladimir Tarasenko, I said, is back in the lineup, was ill, missed their last game. Third line, Elmer Soderblom with Michael Rasmussen and Christian Fischer. And then it's Tyler Mott, Joe Veleno, and Jonathan Berggren. Your D pairings, Ben Sherratt with Mo Sider, Liam. And then it's Simon Edmondson, Albert Johansson, Eric Gustafson with Justin Hall, also known as Ryan Nugent Hopkins. Just his his doll, his dummy. I don't know what word I was looking for there, but he beat the shit out of him once before. That's what I'm trying to say. And once again, from your game notes, you had mentioned how since this resurgence for this Wings team, it's been a couple of key guys, and it's that top line right there of Raymond, Dylan Larkin, and then, of course, Marco Kasper. Raymond, 23 points in the last month. Larkin, 21 points. Marco Kasper, 7 goals in his last 16 games, along with these guys nearly doubling his career total. This Kasper kid, 2022 8th overall pick, and he's really finding his stride right now, and he's only played 46 career games, but this dude could be a problem if the Wings handle him correctly. And Liam, insulating him with 2 of the best players on your entire team is a pretty good way to start off his career, and he's been pretty effective in that role.
Yeah, Austrian boy. I remember he played at the World Juniors one year. I also once messaged him on Instagram to try and get an interview with him, and he replied to me and told me to text his agent. I never texted. Well, I did text his agent. He never texted me back. That was really too bad. But yeah, he's a good player, former 8th overall pick. So obviously expectations are quite high, and a few of these players are now coming through for Detroit. Obviously, like you said, like we've all known who Lucas Raymond and Moritz Seider for a while, but guys like Kasper and Simon Edvinsson as well on the blue line is a really, really promising player too. So as much as we joked at the start of like the Isa plan is taking so long, like guys are coming through. There's also the local guy, Sebastian Kosa, who obviously played for the Oil Kings from Fort McMurray, I think. It's going well for them, let's say the least. There was actually one other change, Aaron. I'm sorry, I hate to keep messing up your lineup notes from Detroit.
Please do.
But it looks like Tyler Mott and JT Comfort and William Lagerson are the healthy scratches tonight. I can't tell off the top of my head who the extra guy is, but someone's replacing Tyler Mott on the 4th line. Is Jonathan Berggren on there?
He was already on the 4th line, according to our notes from earlier. Who
Interesting.
knows? We'll all find out together.
Oh, they're going 11-7.
Who's the other D-man? Do we know?
Justin Hall, Ben Sherratt, Albert Johansson, Moritz Seider, Eric Gustafsson, Simon Edvinsson. 11-7.
Man, there you go. Mo Seider, obviously, was a hot topic on today's Oilers Nation every day. Evan Bouchard or Seider? Seider or Evan Bouchard? We're not going to get into that very same debate, but my God, was that ever hilarious. Mo Seider, we know him. He's the real deal. 23 years old. He's averaging 25.04 time on ice this season. 31 points in 50 games played. And his development, it's been awesome to watch. Yzerman has not messed that one up. He's playing at an elite level defensively. He mans power play 1. He mans PK 1. He is your true shutdown number 1 through and through defenseman, which do not grow on trees. And from my memory, every time I've seen this dude go up against Connor McDavid, I come away from it saying, damn it, that Mo Seider guy is good, because he's got a track record of playing Connor well. He has the size, the speed, the IQ to kind of keep up with Connor McDavid as much as anyone could ever keep up with Connor McDavid. But this is a matchup I'm going to be watching all night long. My player to watch, I would say Lucas Raymond. I said he's my sexy pick, and my unsexy pick is the name you just mentioned as well. Simon Edvinsson, 21 years old, 6'6", 209 pounds. I was listening to Sports 1440 on my drive home today, Liam, and they were talking about how good this kid looks. He's already playing over 20 minutes a night, and I got my eyes on him. Liam, if I had to ask you for a player to watch this evening, who's your go-to guy?
It probably will be Marco Kasper. I'm very curious to see what he's like. I think Dylan Larkin is just one of the most underrated players in the league. He's such a great player. He's always on these US teams whenever, and I know Detroit's always out of the playoffs, but like he's always deserving to be there, right? Like he's on the Four Nations team. He's a great player. He'd be one of them. The young guys. I like all the young guys on this team. Not Mo Seider though.
No, we're not doing it again. We're not doing it again. Absolutely incredible. Let's go now to Bordzy's Bankroll, brought to you by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. Download the app today and use the promo code NATION. All right. And Liam, I'm happy you're on here because you're one of the few gamblers at our company that I know is up on the entire season. So my options this evening, we're going for Hyman shot prop currently minus 135. So not a ton of value. He's got 21 shots in his last 6 games. Math, that's 3.5 shots on goal per game. And I expect him on that third line to be the play driver. I expect the puck on his stick a little bit more. He also had I think it was 5 shots, maybe 6 shots in the Oilers' last game on Monday. The second one, I've been loving the goalie prop lately, and I'm loving Stu over 22.5 saves minus 130. You want some stats here? Detroit in their last 6 games, these are their shots on goal: 28, 32, 45, 28, 34, 39. The offense has been coming through for the Wings, and I believe in my boy Stuart Skinner. 22.5 felt pretty low to me. And then the final one, doesn't take a genius to figure this one out. Detroit has the second worst PK in the entire NHL at 69% under head coach Todd McLellan. Not much better, still 71% since Boxing Day. Do not overthink it. You're putting plus money, plus 128 to be exact, next to McDavid's name. I'm going to smash that one. And then honorable mention, I don't know if it's up here yet, anything with Connor Brown's name attached to it, because I could be seeing some pucks getting fed. Just looking, no, still no Connor Brown on Bet365. Liam, when you look at these 3 bets, which one do you like the most?
Skinner save is one I've already locked in. 22.5 is a good total for, I think, honestly, any goalie in the NHL. And the Detroit Red Wings have a good offense like we've addressed, and Skinner's a good goalie. I expect him to make some good saves. The only thing that could prevent this is the Oilers just limiting them to like 15 shots, to be honest. Like, it just feels like it could be one of those games, but I like that one. The Hyman one is interesting. Power play point I like too. They're just not totally on the power play all the time, but I think I might run the risk with that one as well.
And I said, don't overthink it. Just let it
Yeah.
go. Also, people chirping, they're saying Bouchard's been taken off the bankroll recently. Bouchard comes back on the bankroll when he shows me he's worthy of coming back on the bankroll, okay? January has not been kind to Bordzy, but remember, you need to bet responsibly and only wager what you're willing to lose. We do not unit shame. Do whatever you got to do, and do it, however, on Bet365. That will do it for us for pre-gaming with Bordzy, as we are getting right to the top of the hour. I love you all, Liam. I love you the most as well. Producer Patrick Puff behind the scenes. Intern Reese helping out behind the scenes as well. Reminder, we'll be going live right here on the ON YouTube channel right after the hockey game to break down what we hope is an Edmonton Oilers W. Big shout out to all of our sponsors: Sherwood Ford the Giant, Power Sports, Greta Bar, Bet365, Willock Beef Jerky, Drink God Company, help out the Ben Stelter Foundation, come on the nation vacation. And I think that's all of them. I love you all. Good luck out there on Bet365, and we will talk right after the game.